We are cruising through these picks and bans. The Kung Fu Pandas, they've opted for Lulu Kaisa Zoe and Team Impact into Rise Leona. Based on the champions that these players play, I feel like these are pretty solid bans so far.
Yeah. So we want to round it off with it will be that Aphelios does leave open the Viego here for the Kung Fu Pandas, and they are more than happy to just pick that up here in India.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good choice. Viego, quite a strong champion, and is going to be played by the Kung Fu Pandas. It's a pretty solid flex pick as well. You could really send it anywhere. You don't really see him top nearly as much anymore. He could still go up there. Obviously, mid lane champion, and he's found his home in the jungle.
The response, though, we know that this is a flex pick, so we know exactly where this champion is. Just quite yet. There's the Jinx, though, so we know it's not going to be the bot lane carry Seraphine at least. But it can still be bot lane, it can still be mid lane, who knows?
See what the Kung Fu Pandas will opt to pick for their next two picks. Yes, you mentioned the Seraphine Jinx. So it's exactly where you want to be. I would think. It's not a pretty it's a pretty decent pairing as we see. Opted for the Ashe for their AD carry pick. Immobile provides CC. Alistar. Yep, that is pretty standard. I would think that you pairing these two champions up together is really potent with all the CC they provide, not only the slows but the Alistar knockups and everything like that. It's a pretty solid place to be, especially against the Seraphine Jinx. Xin Zhao, the final pick of the first half of the draft. So far, what are you thinking of the draft?
It's pretty decent on both sides here. Most likely, both the solo laners on both sides have not been locked in quite yet. So it does mean here for Team Impact, they will have that pivotal R5 counter pick for whichever solo lane they do want. Unless the instance is they want to flex the Seraphine to Tom Kench as well, just not really want to deal with any fatties here or any sort of
And we have seen Tom Kench ever since his rework dominate really at many levels of play. After playing against it a couple of times, I would like that champion. If I never saw that champion in my games anymore, I would be pretty happy. As we know, the Kung Fu Pandas, they will be losing their last two bans, so it looks like Impact's last ban will be the Jinx.
And Zoe. Or the JC, yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what? That's a weird way of saying Zoe, but yep. Just gonna let the camera tick on down here.
I mean, they do the same thing, don't they? They just hit you from a long range. Although, the damage they do is different.
Mildly different, yeah. Between Jinx and Jace.
They'll just shoot you from downtown all day. But the first pick coming out of the draft with the lack of two bans, anything that you think that IMP might take up?
If they really want to keep working the Seraphine Flex here, in fact, I think they can just force the Seraphine Flex now to the mid lane, because if you have Jinx Seraphine in the bot lane, it does mean they are extremely vulnerable. Alistar more than happy to just constantly all in, will have that massive kill threat, and it's not like the Seraphine Jinx can really do anything pre-6, and even after that, the Seraphine only really has the Encore ultimate to dissuade any sort of engagement. But when you're dealing with Asher, when you're dealing with Alistar hit by Pulverize combo, well, that's going to be a fun time to deal with. However, though, with this Diana locked in, and I'm assuming going mid lane here, it's most likely going to be the Jinx Seraphine bot lane here for Team Impact.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wild pick. I was quite surprised when they picked up the Diana, because at this point, she really just seems like strictly a jungler. Obviously, you could send that champion to the mid lane and have a good time, but it does make the team comp a little bit wonky. I do like the way the Kung Fu Pandas rounded out their team comp with the Ornn King.
Yep, and Kung Fu Pandas, they do have a very high physical damage comp here, with all their threats being more or less physically based. Ornn will do some pretty decent mixed damage, but we see this Malphite being hovered. Viego and Ashe both very auto attack reliant. The Kayn, no matter which Kayn you do evolve and spec into, I mean, you tend to do a lot of physical damage anyway, so you're just going to see a lot of armor being built up on this Malphite here. And Malphite, a very economical champion. You can put him very far behind, but he still scales very hard with armor due to his natural steroid. And we all know just how powerful the Unstoppable Force ultimate can be for this big old mountain in the top lane.
And in my opinion, I think that this is exactly what Team Impact needed. And you know, they have a good amount of engagement tool with the Seraphine with her ultimate, but they really were missing big team fight engagements. You know, Diana can go in, but she is still a little fragile as a mid laner. Xin Zhao can find his way in, usually on top of one target, but the Malphite ultimate giving opportunities to hit up multiple members. I think that's going to be pretty strong for these guys, and I like the way the pick rounded out, especially with all the physical damage like we mentioned before.
That and as well, like Team Impact, they do have a very strong wombo combo here between the Seraphine, between the Diana, and between the Malphite. And if you're able to open up this Jinx to get those resets, because this Jinx is going to be your big ticket in the late game when it comes to popping off in those team fights, when it comes to just slaughtering everyone on the enemy team. So getting this Jinx set up for success, if you happen to be Team Impact, you definitely have the tools for it. It's just a matter of, will this Jinx Seraphine combo be able to survive the bot lane here against the aggression of Alistar combined with the Ashe? Or will they just kind of keel over and have a not so good time?
Ooh, real quick, there are a couple of changes because the last pick for the Kung Fu Pandas shows us Kayn, but was actually Galio. Because of this, Team Impact swapped their last pick to Poppy. So that does change things quite a bit. Changes the whole complexion of the team composition now.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's a bit of a downside with pro draft sometimes. It does happen, but now that we know that, you know, Kayn is supposed to be Galio and Malphite's supposed to be Poppy, what are we thinking here? Again, a huge shuffle.
Yeah, it does mean now with the Galio there is some magic damage here on the side of Kung Fu Pandas, and they will be appreciating that you don't always want a super hard spec. It's just one type of damage, and on the other side, I mean, the Poppy can be very annoying when it comes to blocking the Alistar all-in, because the Alistar will always get popped up by your Keeper's... Now the Keeper's Vertex is the ultimate. It's been a while since I've cast a Poppy game, but the W is a great tool to stop any sort of Alistar all-in. Same thing applies to the Galio Justice Punch, and you can just give them a lot of issues here as is Poppy if you do time that W well, because that's usually why you lock in this Poppy. Her W is one of the strongest anti-engage tools in the game against certain champions.
Yeah, that steadfast presence is real strong, and I'm not sure. What's the interaction between the Call of the Forge God and Poppy's W? Because on the second hit of Call of the Forge God, he kind of dashes forward a little bit. Does that block that if you're up in his face?
It should, yeah. That's why Singed gets picked into Ornn sometimes. You just put the glue underneath him, and then he cannot do that. So I assume it'd be the same with Poppy. We'll see in game though for sure, and be able to confirm whether or not that is true.
Yeah, I hope we're able to find out.
Yep. Either way, though, we are going to be wrapping up picks and ban here really soon. It's going to actually be the Ornn in the mid lane here. So, on the side of Kung Fu Pandas, like, they have an extremely beefy comp, and your damage is going to be very heavily leveraged here for Xander McDaddy, and then also not important. The Viego and the Ashe, they're going to really have to show up here, because the rest of the team won't really be massive kill threats. They'll definitely chunk the enemies, but they're not going to be the biggest be-all, end-all in terms of team fight damage.
Right. It seems like they've gone with a very high CC comp, and then you have the Viego, who can really start getting a lot of damage down. And really, the game is in the hands of the Ashe in the Viego. Meanwhile, on the other side for Impact, you see there's just damage threats everywhere except for Poppy, pretty much. And even then, you're going to accumulate so much damage dealt over the course of the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see, because I haven't really seen many Poppies in this season. I know that some poppies do prefer to go for a slightly more bruisery build because she actually does have fairly decent AD scalings on some of her abilities, but tank is still tried and true, and it would be bringing extra beef to this team impact composition. Oh lord. So either way, it really does work here for pinball, whichever way they want to swing.
Yeah, pinball really does enjoy playing their poppy as well. Typically, when you play games, in leagues like this, there's a lot of scouting to be done. And, you're not going to get your best champion. You're not going to get some of your favorites. But whenever you do, you always are going to have a really fun time. And I expect that pinball may have a pretty good game. This team is behind the eight ball. They're 0-2 to start the season. Bit of a rough start, but, this first game is the perfect opportunity to try to turn it around. It looks like a lot of these guys got the comfort champions, and it looks like they have great pick ability.
Yep, especially here for Team Impact, they do want to start making a bit of a turnaround in this season. If you go down 0-3 at the start, it's still winnable in terms of hitting that playoff spot, but it does get very, very hard indeed. You kind of have to win almost all your games from there on out, and even then you might be a little screwed if type shenanigans do come in. So I'm looking towards Team Impact here to see what they can bring to the table here and maybe change their fortunes in this Risen season.
Yeah, like you said, it is a long season, and 0-2 isn't necessarily a death knell or anything like that. But it can momentum is a big thing, and if you come out this series, these guys got a sub, so they're going to lose a couple of bans, which is definitely advantageous to you. It's going to be really difficult if they go down 0-3 here by losing the set after this game one draft. It's going to feel really bad, and that could potentially snowball into more losses in the future. So really, when you're on a losing streak, somebody has to determine, all right, somebody's got to be the stopper. They got to stand their ground, and they got to try to right the ship for these guys.
Yep. With that being said, though, we're going to have to cut to a short break here on the desk while we get everything set up for game number 1 of week 3 here. Don't go anywhere, viewers, because we'll be right back in a jiffy.
We should be on Summoner's Rift when we come back.
Hopefully.
gentlemen, welcome to Summoner's Rift. We got the Kung Fu Pandas. They are on the blue side. Team Impact, they are on the red side. Your starting lineups, we got Leon 1, 2, 3 in the top lane. Not important in the jungle. 40-inch tuna. That's a big tuna in the mid lane. Xander McDaddy, substitute at 80 carry, and Bombstar at support. Meanwhile, on the red side, Pinball in the top lane. Mr. Cookie in the jungle. Blue Metal in the mid lane, Razormouth 42 at 80 carry, and Pumpkin IRL in the support.
Yep.
Pretty standard setup for these guys so far. A ward here, a ward there. Nothing too crazy, though.
Yeah, pretty standard, like you said.
A couple of pings went out onto the red buff.
Things, but nothing too surprising here on the Rift, aside from some kind of flex picks here. We haven't really seen Ornn in the mid lane in quite some time. Not since he was kind of considered broken beyond belief. Now he's only considered strong.
Wait, are they setting him top? I think they are.
Yeah, it is a flex. Okay, cool. Kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think that makes total sense. Of course, you're going to take, Galio into the magic damage matchup. That seems right.
Yeah, because Galio, he's known for being the anti-mage, even though he's kind of become just more of either a support or just full AP champion who's got a little bit of natural tankiness. Either way, though, the tools he has in terms of magic damage reduction and the magic damage shield going to be very powerful when we're talking about into the Diana matchup. Never mind that, though, because this is a level 2 gank. 40-inch tuna should be dropping.
Yeah, he's got nowhere to go. He was taken down to about 100 HP before Mr. Cookie even shows up, and he's going to pick up a pretty easy kill to start the game.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, lickety split. Does mean 40-inch tuna will have to do the teleport of Shane back to lane, and it's not like he had a really powerful back there as well. Only had enough money from that first wave for this control ward. Mr. Cookie just being Mr. Worldwide right now with how much he's been running all over the map. It hasn't really hurt him too much in terms of camp clear speed. He is roughly even. Oh, wait, no. That was red buff at the top lane. He didn't even take the Raptors.
Yeah, he got nothing. He is pretty far behind. It looks like he might miss out on one of these crabs at the very least, potentially two. So we do see some trading in the top lane and some plays in the mid lane is not important, is coming in for a gank. It was a good taunt, and a flash has to be burnt there. Good stuff by the side of Lien to force the flash out of blue metal. Force him to play a little bit safer, and Pinball is going for it. These guys are so low. The flash forward, Billow's breath is there, and 40-inch tuna is going to get one back after the slow start.
Yeah, and when you're low like that, even if you are a tanky champion this early on, you got to respect the minion wave damage when you do aggro them. Ends up nipping Pinball in the behind there, and now it's all even in this top lane. Technically going to be in the favor of 40-inch tuna since he got the kill, whereas first blood was only an assist for Pinball. It should still be, at the end of the day, a massive sausage fight in this top lane with the wet noodles, the pool noodles, whatever have you in terms of your metaphors.
You ever been smacked by a fully watered up pool noodle? Stuff hurts.
No, not really.
Oh yeah, it's rough. You get smacked right across the face. Hot summer day, it feels pretty good, but then afterward, you're kind of like standing there in a daze. Just imagine like an Alawi tentacle, I guess. As Xander McDaddy does get rooted up. The chompers do not land onto him, but Mr. Cookie coming in from behind. He's everywhere, like you said. Forces the flash at his Xander McDaddy. There's the knockup. Razormouth's going to pick up this kill as Bombstar only can run away and watch their 80 carry die. And Pinball is looking to pin Brawl up here as they've taken so much damage. A 40-inch tuna, after, like I mentioned earlier, the slow start has just been running roughshod over this top lane.
Yep. Ornn has a metric stupid ton of damage here. It's kind of a little annoying to deal with, even as a tank.
Yeah, it is not fun. The knockup's bound, the Billow's breath making him unstoppable as well as Pinball is going for it, but didn't see not important waiting in the wings. Big knockup going forward, lands the stun. Autos go down. Not important's going to find another.
Now this Poppy 0-2. Heavily behind on CS as well. Pinball is not going to be having a fun time here. And That's just how much damage Ornn can bring. And also, it's a hard thing to itemize against Ornn damage because he does a decent mix of both physical and magic damage. But then, even if you itemize just pure health, well, he does percentage health damage as well. It's probably not having a fun time. It does mean on the bot side, though, you are at least grabbing that Ocean Dragon, which will help with this losing top side. It is also very early Ocean Dragon, so you feel nice about that. To just have that extra sustain in lane to deal with any sorts of trades that might go slightly wrong.
And I mean, what I want to talk about is how Mr. Cookie with the level 1 gank only getting the first buff and not even getting the second jungle camp until the wolves is at this is just is a level behind, not important, sure, but has secured one of the 2 crabs and secured the dragon and has successfully gotten 2 ganks off. That's pretty impressive after, setting himself behind to come up for the top lane.
Mr. Worldwide indeed. And interestingly, on the first back with that early lead, he opts for the Berserker's Greaves, which is a very aggressive purchase. Typically, Xin Zhao doesn't spec too hard into extra attack speed, as he gets a good amount of natural ones. There's the call the Forge God.
Yep,
He's able
it
to
does
get
big
this
damage. One auto. Ooh, the rupture couldn't quite get to pinball, but the lane, it's still firmly in control of 40-inch Tuna. It's doing big
Here
things
comes
out
Mr.
there.
Worldwide.
Yep, here's not important coming to the bot lane. Razormouth did get hit with the knockup, has been stunned. Flash cleanse burnt as he gets out of there. Meanwhile, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305, Mr. Cookie in that top lane forces 40-inch Tuna to get out of dodge. No summoners burnt there, and I'm pretty sure he was going to be on a back anyway, but I like the pressure.
It does force this Ornn back. He's going to have to walk back to lane without that teleport. Means your Poppy will be able to try and shove out this wave to a somewhat more favorable state before backing themselves. Granted, Pinball was able to heal a decent chunk of their health by consuming all of those corrupting potion charges. Does mean they won't have any more of those charges here for future trades, which can be a big deal with that extra oomph of damage, but more importantly, just that extra dummy sustain.
And that dummy thick sustain will really carry you through a game. It looks like Pinball, they weren't able to get a back off. This could be problematic for them, as there is a big wave and 40-inch Tuna is content to just tank it up. But, I mean, Pinball hasn't really had time to breathe, and they're going to need to get out soon. They got knocked up under the turret. There's the damage coming out so low, about 120 HP, but they will be able to walk out of there and forcing 40-inch Tuna's health bar down pretty low. So now, now the ball's in their court. What are they going to do?
Yeah, definitely not get locked up with turret aggro hitting you. That's always a bit of an for.
Yeah, you never like when that happens. I've died many a time to being a little too over aggressive and not respecting opponent's CC. So I'm sure every league player has.
Oh Lord.
Big plate taking ability up there as well. Looks like
Thankfully,
you might back to get an item now.
Yeah, mid lane's been very just stock standard here outside of that one gank. This Galio here for Lien, more than happy to just do the AFK wave clear thing. Keep this Diana from roaming. You'll be able to roam faster in a even footing scenario when they both leave at the same time.
There comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Big knock up onto Seraphine. Nowhere to go. The Heartbreaker goes down the flash, but they will be taken down by Not Important as the Encore completely whiffed. Get off the stage. And Seraphine sent packing home as the squad now shows up to the bottom turret. They're looking for plates.
Able to get quite a bit there, and that's why the Seraphine Jinx lane is not going to be having a fun time once it is post level 6 for the side of the Kung Fu Pandas bot lane. As the Ashe ulti comes out, sure, you might be able to dodge that, but you can't dodge an L-Star combo unless you commit your flash. And yeah, we just kind of saw what happens there.
Yeah, it looks like they committed their flash just a little too late. It's always a tough thing to do. You always want to go in and flash in your first opportunity, but sometimes you just can't do that. Sometimes you just have to accept that you're going to die and save the cooldown. So we see Mr. Cookie trying to get on top of Lien, and Lien is going to find their way out with the blast cone. But a big nuisance this Xin Zhao has been all game long.
Yep. Hasn't really gotten anything else though after those two initial ganks. Aside from the dragon, still doing fairly well. Of course, you this is still a snowball Shinzao. It is still a Shinzao that's gonna be a threat. Especially once we start talking about this next dragon here that is spawning right now. Teleport, never mind that. Ulti
Bombs
in the
call the
top lane
forward
should
shot,
be a
lands
buff
the
up. There's the
knock-up.
knockup.
There's the channel. Ooh, couldn't quite land the stun. Getting away from it is pinball. And, that's a good opportunity, good effort up there, but really couldn't make anything happen. I'd like to see them go after the Rift Herald because this dragon is now going down to the side of Team Impact. They will pick up their second dragon of the game.
More than happy to grab that. It's also going to be an Earth Soul as well.
This could be
Mind
bad
that.
for 40-inch Tuna, but not important. Is showing up to the party, flashing forward, landing the stun. One more auto, killing spree for this Viego. Their third kill of the game. That could be trouble later on for Team Impact.
That's going to be a lot of trouble already. Mr. Cookie is in danger. There's
Oh,
the
he didn't know it was warded. There's the knockback. He had gotten stunned. Heartbreaker down. A fourth kill for not important. I'd argue they're very important in this game. Enchanted Crystallera will just make a cameo appearance as it heads off of Summoner's Rift. But another nice play out of the Kung Fu Pandas.
And that's going to be a rough one to deal with, buddy, because this is a Viego that's snowballing and will be able to shred through everyone on your team. So, good luck with that one, buddy. Granted, you can at least kind of itemize against him due to his high physical damage plus auto attack based damage. If you do get the plated steel caps here, it helps a lot. But, either way, this Viego's massive either way and will be quite the threat. And has the Rift Herald to boot as well. We'll see what he's able to do with that since plates are still available and on the table.
We'll see how the rest of this game shakes out. It's a pretty good early start for the Kung Fu Pandas. Interested to see how the rest of the game goes for these guys. And, with a Viego, I'd be pretty pleased right now if I were on the Kung Fu Pandas. You feel like you're in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, that's one way of being in the driver's seat. Well, being a little bit of a pin bait here, but here comes the squad.
Mr. Worldwide is showing up again. Does hit the knockup, and here is the Galio making the first cross map play. Mr. Cookie in trouble, dodge the knockup there. Here comes Blue Metal, looking to meddle in the affairs of this top lane fight. It's a double kill for the Ornn, but they are taken down by this Diana. Now, not important, they've shown up. Flash burnt, CC missed, and the taunt little too far away is Blue Metal. And there's a solid teleport out there, but overall, a very good play for the side of the Kung Fu Pandas. A 2-for-1 overall.
Yeah, and it might just be more here in this bot lane. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is available. There is a flash on this Alistar, so they can very easily just dive here in this bot lane. Have the Rift Herald being dropped. There's not really a lot of mana on this Diana. There's no flash, there's no teleport, there's no ulti. Yeah, you could just good squad her in.
Here they come, big knockups everywhere. The taunts go down. The CC layered like a lasagna perfectly. Pinball, what are you doing going into the 1v3? That turret went down. You have no protection now. Solo, the Super Mega Death Rocket from across the map is going to find a kill. Now Mr. Cookie doing what they can with the CC. But Ornn has gone unstoppable, flashing forward, so close to going down. Pinball kites it out. The kill by Mr. Cookie in the bot lane. Pumpkin IRL knocked up, ignited, taken down. But Bombstar is going to have to flash out of here. The heal is popped. Razormouth trying to go forward, but the zap hits the minion. No CC left for this Jinx. And they will have to back off. Maybe not. They are determining whether or not they still want to go in. Cross map plays abound everywhere. Ends up being a 2-for-2. But that top lane turret went down. Gold's in the other side's favor as Razormouth now is being engaged on again. Please slow down. Couldn't get the stun off. I thought he was going to get the stun off. I was waiting for it.
Just a little frightened there in the end. Nobody else.
Tell me what happened here. Tell me everything that happened here.
Death, destruction, that works.
Ooh-wee.
But A lot of it did kind of start off in that top lane with that attempted bait from Pinball, but he was just already too low, tanking too much of the minion wave. Had it just been a 1-for-1, it would have been fine, but it does not work out like that. And then thankfully the fight just keeps going on for longer and longer. And we'll probably get to see another version of this fight here as everybody's posturing up for this dragon. This would be the third dragon for the side of Team Impact if they're able to grab it, put them on that soul point. Pinball, though, has to be careful. Already down to about half health is this Poppy, and you do not want your main frontliner being chunked down to about not a health bar.
Yeah, they don't have teleport either. And really, this dragon is quite important for Team Impact because they are a little bit behind early, but you want to be able to grab Soul Point here. It's going to be very difficult for these guys to be able to do that. Here comes the CC layering. Perfect knockups everywhere. Mr. Cookie couldn't even move, but that's just how the cookie crumbles as the Kung Fu Pandas look to secure the first strike of the game.
Yeah, a little adventurous there from the Shenzhou.
I'd say that as well. I mean, it feels really bad because it looked like they were just trying to maybe take a steal there. You see Xander McDaddy and you don't make an immediate engage on him. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to land every time because it's so close, and Zinzao really has nowhere to go at that point. And when the rest of your team's not there, sometimes you just have to give up the dragon. You know, dragons don't give gold like they used to back in the day before the elemental drakes exist. But now you're just handing over 300 gold to someone.
Yeah, and thankfully that 300 gold not going over to the Feviego or the Ash, who is yet to get a kill. It does go on to the Ornn, who, don't get me wrong, will be a massive thorn in your side, but it won't be the worst. Thankfully, just a fat ball of stats, really, that's going to be absorbing a lot of damage. But you do have this Jinx, who will be empowered by that Seraphine, already sitting on the Kraken Slayer, looking to go towards that Zeal item. Should be able to shred through this Ornn fairly well, bar the Anthema's chains being bound to this Jinx, in which case then that's going to make the Jinx's life a lot harder.
And I mean, this Jinx's life already seems pretty hard to me. There's a Galio on this side. There's an Alistar on the other side. You know, no movement abilities. You know, if you go Gale Force, you're probably a little weaker than you would want to be. Kraken Slayer just to get max damage out, but you know, it's going to be rough, and this Jinx positioning is going to have to be A1 this entire game if they want to have a shot at winning this one.
Yep. Thankfully, you do have that Wombo combo like we were kind of talking about.
Ooh,
there isn't a mouth fight.
And Galio doesn't do all the damage that you want to see. Mr. Cookie, he wants to go in, to go forward looking for blue metal. Solo is going to be able to walk out. The 40-inch tuna lands a big knockup. They layer the CC once again. Team compositions like this, I love them so much. Make it easy on your guys. Land the CC, get kills. It's exactly what they've been doing.
It also helps when you have double semi-global, or well, yeah, double semi-global and just a full-on global. That are all CCs. 40-inch tuna.
Uh-oh, yeah, he's been CC'd forever, getting so low. Jinx doing whatever they can, but
look at the flank though from this
Viego. Far ahead. Bombstar will be able to flash out of there, but here comes the Ash, here comes the Viego. This is problematic. Cleanse burnt. Pumpkin IRL. The clock strikes midnight on you. Back to a pumpkin you go. And Pinball will have to get out of there. Razormouth already burning that cleanse, making sure that they were A-okay on that gank. Big summoner down as Team Impact falls further and further behind.
Oof. Yeah, this is... It's still comebackable, but this is a very rough spot to be in, as it's a noticeable gold deficit. You got to make something happen here quickly. Thankfully, your Jinx still is 2-0-1 ahead of their counterpart. Does do damage like we saw, but not quite enough, just given how tanky this Ornn is. Let's see if you could... Never mind that.
Here comes an engagement. The knockups to double taunt landed, and that Rift Herald is down. So the rest of the team is ready to fight. Bombstar trying to chase down Pinball on the other side. We see the Galio moving forward, but he realizes he's got to get out. No kills or anything done there. A pretty clean take of the Rift Herald by the side of the Kung Fu Pandas.
Yep. Just lickety split. Nothing they can really do about that in response. So they're just going to plop that down. They're going to plop down the Ornhorn as well.
Forge God, it was blocked Pinball very low is gonna have to flash out of there. Big knockback from
Teleport.
Mr.
This is
Cookie.
a big
Here comes
ulti.
Big Metal. There's the ultimate. It catches 5. Lien is gonna have to Zonia. Xander McDaddy's gotta get out of there, but he is gonna go down as well. It's almost a clean ace. Mr. Cookie, the one to go down. Blue Metal with an excellent teleport flank. Big plays by these guys. They're back in it.
Yep. That's all it takes for a Wombo Combo comp. You just need that one fight, and the one fight they do get, that's going to completely swing back the gold in this game to a much more even state here. This is basically dead even, and we're 40 seconds out from the dragon as well. This is a powerful reset that they are going to be sitting on here, Yanni, if they just do decide to back right now, because it is going to be a bit before the dragon spawns. That's enough time to go back. Purchase your items. This Jinx now sitting very pretty on 2 items. And we've seen how much damage this Jinx can do. And the tower, just the MVP of that fight, able to rack up a lot of extra damage onto this really tanky frontline in the
tower
All-Star.
MVP? Oh, come on. You gotta give some credit to Blue Metal there.
Yep.
It's all Blue Metal.
Tuna's kind of looking for this. The dragon has just spawned. Fresh purchases are coming in, but due to the timing being a little awkward, first dib's gotta be here for Kung Fu Pandas.
Yeah, and you might just need to give this one up. You know, Blue Metal missing some summoner spells. It looks like they are. It doesn't look like they're too interested in it. This dragon's going to go down. It's okay to give this one away. You know, now it's 2-2. You fight on Soul Point, wait for the summoners to come back. But 40-inch Tuna looking for that call. The Forge got it, whiffs. Knock up onto Pinball. There's the Enchanted Crystal arrow, and they split up the teams. Not important. 1v1
oh, that's
Blue
a good
Metal on the
Poppy
side.
ulti.
Razormouth doing what they can. 40-inch Tuna is the only one on them, though, and they're going to be able to survive. They're well protected. Everybody else is taking aggro.
There's a reset on this Viego.
Razormouth is just untouched the entire fight. Viego so low, but is going to take down the AD carry. However, they are the last one standing. The Heartbreaker is not enough. It is a triple kill for Pinball. A really well-executed fight by Team Impact.
Yeah, and Pinball being the hero of that team fight there with that Keeper's Verdict, knocking out some key members there, allowing this Jinx, allowing this Shinzao to go to town, and this super fed Viego for the side of Kung Fu Panda is not really able to help out in that fight. Was having a very sick 1v1 on the side and did take down Blue Metal. However, though, this might just be the Baron. There's the teleport from this Orn. 40-inch Tuna does have something to say about it. And
can't do it.
Yeah, without the Jinx here, you're not really going to be super shredding through that Baron, so just back on off. You took the team fight dub. You also baited out a teleport that's very massive.
Yeah. And now it might turn into a kill. This is going to be so rough. There's 4 members, 40-inch Tuna, big 3-man knockup. How big is your health bar? Not big enough. The Goon Squad came up there. They're going to pick up an extra kill as well. They have taken the gold lead, wrestled it away from the Kung Fu Pandas. Back-to-back strong fights from these guys, and they are playing like a cohesive unit right now.
Yeah.
Just gonna get the crab, and it looks like it's gonna go over to the Kung Fu Pandas. Mr. Cookie's gonna have to run out of there after popping that ultimate. Xander McDaddy is gonna find a kill in the turret in the mid lane, but there's a big fight in the river. Who's gonna show up? The tallest down on Mr.
Pinball has a
Mr.
flank.
Cookie goes down, and now Pumpkin IRL's gonna find a way out of there. Razormouth trying to flank, but they go in onto Blue Metal. No HP onto Blue Metal. Super Mega Death Rocket does nothing. And now Pinball's going to have to try to get out of there, but they're chasing down onto Bombstar. On the other side, they found Razormouth. Not important, finds a kill. Kills going everywhere, but it's not the greatest fight for Team Impact. The advantage is still on the side of the Kung Fu Pandas that they look for more. Big knockup, but they still got taunted. Not important on top of Pinball. Galio coming back into the fight. Couple more auto attacks should do it, and Pinball goes down to the volley. And now only Pumpkin IRL is alive on the side of Team Impact. The sights are set on the Baron for the Kung Fu Pandas.
And crucially in that fight, Razormouth for the side of Team Impact able to do nothing there as the rest of his team drops one by one. He's all separated, can't do anything. It means that the game will be swinging very handily back in the favor of the Kung Fu Pandas here once they grab the spear. And of course, Mr. Cookies does have a smite, does have a dream, But
Doesn't
it's
have
going
the
to be a
flash.
tough one to sell.
Call the Forge God. He puts him over the wall, but the Baron, it's just got too much HP right now. Here comes the Seraphine Encore. It's not going to do much. About 1,000 HP, not important. Did miss the smite. Xander McDaddy, the big sub, coming in and saving that Baron for the side of the Kung Fu Pandas. You know, I caster cursed them. I said that Team Impact was playing as a cohesive unit, and then they go in there and they just absolutely fall apart. I'm not sure what happened between the last two fights and whatever we just saw a couple minutes ago, but I didn't like it.
No, might be a little bit of trouble here in the bot lane. X-Tech Proto Belt gonna be getting this Diana on out here for blue metal, and yeah, that's a huge Baron pickup. Also important to note, we're a minute out from the next dragon as well. It's going to be soul point for whichever team does grab it here. And Team Impact really want it for themselves here. Not only for their front line to have a little bit of extra beef, but quadruple Earth Dragon on an Ornn who already has that stupid dummy thick steroid is going to be just so hard to cut through, even with this Jinx, because I'm assuming the Anthemus Chims are bound onto Razormouth here. Never mind that. That's a great pick.
Uh-oh, Pumpkin IRL goes down, and that is really rough with 30 seconds until this dragon spawns. Pumpkin IRL is going to be down when this dragon spawns, so that's going to allow Kung Fu Pandas to have an even stronger setup, and they might just be able to choke Team Impact out of the Slash Drake. Like you said, the potential for quad Earth Dragons is way too high. And Mr. Cookie gets picked off again as well. And it looks like things are falling apart for Team Impact right before our very eyes.
Yep. Blue Metal should be able to get this inhibitor turret. Even with his back from Lien, he will be able to take this and just skedaddle on out. Look on the flip side, though, because we might just see a no-you push in the bot lane if they do so. Please.
Uno reverse card.
Yeah. Either way, a little bit of a chicken running around with its head off sort of deal right now for Team Impact, because they feel a little bit clueless, just a little all across the board here. Well, Kung Fu Panda is more than happy to just kind of punish their mistakes, use their Death Ball comp with this super fed Viego to just keep driving home and extending their lead.
You know, and I know both of these solo laners have teleport, but I would have liked one of them to be with the squad in the bot lane. You know, Galio has a fair bit of poke damage. Ornn can find a really good engagement. Really, it looks like they're just waiting for Team Impact to engage on them and have their guys teleport in, which it looks like exactly what's going to happen right now. Not important. He got stunned up against the wall. Big knockups everywhere. Here comes the Galio entering the fight. Call the Forge God does get blocked. On the back line, it's Pinball doing what he can to get guys out of the fight.
And they get
Pumpkin
the Viego.
went down. Pinball goes down. Viego is in the Guardian Angel 40-inch tuna, trying to come forward even more. Mr. Cookie knocks one away. Mr. Cookie goes down. Not important. Goes invulnerable, and the Super Mega Death Rocket couldn't kill him. And that is a 3-for-0 in favor of the Kung Fu Pandas. They've broken the base.
And they can just look to end the game here if they want to. 20 seconds on the top end jungle duo here. Yes, Pumpkin IRL will be back in just a few, but this is the Seraphine without ulti, and it's all up to Blue Metal and this Jinx here. It's going to be a tough sell, but they're trying.
Doing what they can to zone, but it does not even matter. Blue Metal wants to try to get into this fight, is waiting for the respawns, doesn't have that Moonfall ultimate either. So Pumpkin IRL trying to do something to 40-inch tunas. It looks like the Kung Fu Pandas are just going to be able to walk out of here just fine. Blue Metal is being chased down, is going to engage a fight. On the other side, Pumpkin IRL gets caught. Not important, finds that kill. 40-inch tuna going pretty low. Razormouth
takes the reset, though,
but has no front line. Not important, going lower and lower, but pops the Sterix Gauge shield and is just gaining so much HP. The Forge got out, but the team is already dead. It's a double kill for that Viego. It's 2 more kills for Xander McDaddy, and that is all she wrote for these guys. The Kung Fu Pandas, after losing control in the mid-game, getting smacked in the mouth, come back with a vengeance in the second half of that game, and they made it look easy.
Yeah, and you could taste the thirst for victory there from Team Impact. However, though, Kung Fu Pandas, they were in the lead this entire game. Even after that mid-game gold swing,
it was tied.
They still had the gold.
It still felt. Yeah, it still felt they were in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and rough one here for Team Impact because you were talking about the potential mental impact of losing game number one in this series might have on them, especially going forward into the rest of the series as well as the up and coming weeks here, Yanni. So I'm curious to see how they want to rebound here.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad because you were down early, and that huge mid-game comeback that really kind of like gets the juices flowing, gets your emotion back into the game, and you're like, hey, we just had two great team fights, and when I say they were great team fights, I mean they peeled properly for Razormouth, Blue Metal. They were off on the side and they got taken down by Not Important, but Not Important didn't recognize that the true threat in that fight was going to be Razormouth. So while they did kill Blue Metal, the rest of the team got ripped apart by Razormouth. Later on, they realized, hey, let's make this life hard on Jinx and see where it goes from there. And they made it rough on the Jinx in those later fights, and Razormouth wasn't really able to do anything as the game progressed. So, in the next game, I would expect Team Impact to at least know that they can play with these guys, that they can hang with these guys with those mid game fights. If they execute more like that, they should be all good. They might want to change up their pick and ban strategies. It looked like a couple of champions for the Kung Fu Pandas were a bit problematic.
hmm But that's something we'll have to see going to next game here, Yanni, as we do cut to a short break here on the desk. But don't go anywhere because we will be back in a lickety split jiffy. Yeah, for game number two.
Don't go anywhere. It'll be a good one. This was a banger. Fucking What's going on? Oh, all right. What's going on, everybody? We are back here for the picks and bans for game 2 of the Kung Fu Pandas and Team Impact. In the last game, just in case you missed it, the Kung Fu Pandas took pretty big control early, but there was a big play in the mid game by Blue Metal of Team Impact to turn the game around. Unfortunately, Team Impact could not keep up that momentum. They get saddled with the L, and we go into picks and bans. So far, Viego Leona banned for Team Impact. Seems pretty wise given that not important played Viego and went 14-3 in the last game. Lulu Zoe banned on the side of the Kung Fu Panda so far.
Yep, let's see what else does come out here. Looks like it might also be the Galio, which was a pain in that mid lane. Not along that diagonal room whatsoever, and able to respond very handily across the map. Kung Fu Pandas be once again responding with a Kaisa ban here, but this time around Team Impact do have first pick Cryo here. That and also Kung Fu Pandas, they will be missing out on a ban here in the second half of this ban.
Right, they did change their roster around a little bit, but now with this game, it looks like they have their full starting roster, as there were a couple changes. 40-inch Tuna is now been sent to the bench in favor of Young Mashu. And Xander McDaddy, who came in relief for one game, will give way to the main 80 carry Razor.
Oh, boy. And the first... Okay.
Okay. Vayne, the first
awesome
pick. Diana in response here for the Kung Fu Pandas. I think after seeing what Blue Metal did with it in game 1, they're going to want to take that away, and they'll keep that pick for themselves.
Yeah, that Diana is such a strong pick right now, even after the nerfs. Also locking the Alistar, which was crucial for them last game in terms of keeping up the pressure in the bot lane. And Vayne won't be having a dandy time into it. Okay, with the Morgana, if that is a Morgana support, you can Black Shield the Headbutt Pulverize combo on at least one of your bot laners here, which will help a lot. And they lock in this LeBlanc. That is a lot of single target damage here already from the side of Team Impact.
They opt for the Morgana LeBlanc in the second half. You know, I play a little bit of Blanc myself. Judging by the Diana Alistar picks, I probably wouldn't have picked it. But I like it. I think it's pretty bold, and you get a lot of assassin potential with the Vayne and the LeBlanc. I was going to say, people might want to get their goggles out for some Vayne spotting. Black Shield should be able to at least let Vayne score a little bit less points than Samira, looking to be the pick for the Kung Fu Pandas.
And the Samira pairs extremely well with the Alistar because her passive knockup applies off of allies' knockups. And it really complements the all-in nature of this Alistar. You can really snowball this bot lane because Morgana has very low base armor and just tankiness in general. So if the Morgana Black Shields the Vayne, then you just pile drive onto the Morgana instead, and you can kill her very easily. If not, you can just hop on the Vayne instead. And yeah, it is going to be a dandy time here if you are the Samira. Once again, Kung Fu Panda's bot lane will have the initiative here and be able to pull off a lot of shenanigans.
Second round of bans, it's Zinzao Poppy for the Kung Fu Pandas as they have finished their 5. Meanwhile, on the other side, Team Impact, they have gone with the Tom Kench, and they will be losing a ban.
Oof. And, let's see. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I mean, like, maybe it's just a, all right. They did ban Gwen. Not...
Kung Fu Pandas.
Not sure if that's really going to be a big deal. I mean, if they're not planning on playing Gwen in the first place, it's probably fine. Tristana, the pick here for the Kung Fu Pandas. I think this means that this Diana is heading to the mid lane. They would put Tristana, into the jungle. They would put Tristana in the mid lane against LeBlanc, which seems like it could be problematic.
Yeah, because the Tristana can't pull off the same thing she usually does against most mid laners against the LeBlanc, because the LeBlanc has kill threat on you And Tristana kind of hates that because usually she's the one with kill threat. They'll still have kill threat in this lane, it's just harder and you have to work for it. However, though, the Jax and Mumu gonna round off this team impact composition here. The Jax gonna be a very strong split pusher, and you have this Mumu to set off fights exceedingly well. Let's see what the Kung Fu Pandas want to lock in here, because they do have the double AD carry threat with the Diana burst, so maybe they want a bit more beef. The Ornn from last game is still available if they do want to lock that in, or they could just go for the Sylas.
That is pretty good. Quick update: the Jax is supposed to be a Shen, so now Sylas getting pretty good ultimate to steal. I like the ultimates that Sylas can steal here. You can take the Morgana chains, the Soul Shackles. You can take the Curse of the Sad Mummy. That's real strong. Pretty much, I expect those two to be taken exclusively. In terms of team composition, this team impact team, it seems pretty standard. You're gonna have a support that can make picks, a jungler that is your hard engage, a top laner that can split push and join the fight at will, along with two pretty hard carries. That seems pretty good to me. How do you think it stacks up against the Kung Fu Pandas team?
Yeah, although Kung Fu Pandas, I like their composition a lot too, because they are the Goon Squad. They just want to have an explosive fight. They want to pop off in a fight. I mean, you have two resetting champions. You have the AoE, the pop of the Diana. You have the AoE knockup of the Alistar. You have just the insane skirmishing and damage from the rest of these picks as well. KFP, they're looking to start and end fights very quickly with their rather explosive champions.
Yeah, and the team, while it's not very tanky, they're a little thick. You know, Diana is not tanky, but is a little thicker than your average mid laner. You know, is tankier than a LeBlanc or your average jungler, I should say. And then Sylas as well, not tanky but thick. You know, we'll have their fair share of HP. The Kingslayer will be able to, in a pinch, bail them out in a fight and really turn a fight. So, you know, this KFP team really seems like they have all the tools at their disposal. Except for maybe disengage, but I mean, Tristana has a little bit of that.
Tristana has that for person, but
depends on who it is, though. You know, if you Buster shot a Vayne out of a fight or Buster shot on a Mumu right before you get that Curse of the Sad Mummy off, ooh, that's real good.
Yeah. It's gonna come down to execution, but this KFP composition, they're not so much about the disengaging, they just want to get into the heat of things and stay in the heat of things. Of course, Team Impact also want to do that, but KFP just want to do that in a much more flashy way compared to their opposition.
And we'll have to see how this Vayne pick shakes out. You know, they're going to want to scale with that Vayne pick. The lane should be pretty boring, I'd imagine. There's a lot of potential hard engagement. Morgana, it's really going to be on them. It's going to be on Pumpkin IRL to make sure that they are the ones that are making the good decisions with the Black Shield. Obviously, you don't want to Black Shield yourself when Alistar's coming at you. It's like, all right, I'm going to protect myself. It's like, oops, they went after my Vayne. My Vayne is now dead. So that's not great. And that's a lot of pressure when you think about it. It's one key, but it could really change the entire game.
Yeah. That's a lot of keys in League of Legends, though. So
definitely, low key is a lot of high key.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, well, I'm gonna go put myself in a corner for making a terrible joke like that, and hopefully after I get yelled at by everybody else when we take this break, we'll be back on it for Summoner's Rift, and I can get to talking about more game action and less about making really bad jokes. Don't go anywhere, please. I know it was a bad joke, but please don't go anywhere. All right. We're out here on the Rift once again for game 2 of this 3-game set. As Pinball already getting engaged on by Lien, although is forcing Lien off. A little bit of level 1 skirmishing. You love to see it. Didn't get to see that in the first game. Starting lineups are a little bit different this time around. We do have Young Mashu and Razorleaf playing mid and AD carry respectively for the side of the Kung Fu Pandas, who are your red team for this game. No changes for Team Impact other than the fact that they're on the blue side. Team comps, I don't know. I like them both. I feel like this is going to be a bloody game.
I mean, we saw last game and how bloody it got. I don't think this one's going to be any different.
47 kills in that last game.
Oh, I just took a quick peek at Twitch chat and I saw the Jack's Counter-Strike copy pasta, which I absolutely love.
Yes. Now, it's from BJ Kibbs. BJ Kibbs is my boy. I know BJ Kibbs for a little bit now. Good lad. Good lad.
There we go.
Nothing too crazy about this leash. Everything's pretty much the same. A couple of wards down on that top side. One ward in the pixel brush for the blue side. One ward near the chickens for the red side. So, we'll know if not important does to try to make their way to the top lane or the mid lane.
One thing I do want to see here is who hits level 2 first in the spot lane. Keep in mind, Uzo Bombstar still holding on to both those Relic Shield procs here, so can look to just use those instantly in a row to get a very fast GT level 2. We'll have to see though. As they did hit level 2. Yep, Black Shield quite yet.
Yeah, Pumpkin IRL, they opened with Black Shield, but they didn't use it until after the knockup, so Razormouth is going to take a fair amount of damage from that. Kind of rough. I mean, if you're going to start the Black Shield, you need to be ready to press the button.
That is the biggest problem. That, and also, even if you do level up the Black Shield level 1, when you group up like that, then the L-Star still doesn't really have to think.
Yeah, he just goes. It's just no questions.
All right, Black Shield 1, I'm still hitting both of you. I'm still damaging you, even if I'm not knocking you up like your other goon. It's just okay, we take those. It's like the golden rule of like facing Malphite in ARAM.
Don't stack up. And it's pretty easy. It's easy to forget until after that first one. Once both of you get knocked up, then you're probably like, all right, maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. Lien is getting 1v1 here. Big taunt, last auto attack. No, the Kingslayer turned it around. It's first blood for Lien. I thought he had that. I thought that was pinballs to lose, and, well, it turned out to be pinballs to lose.
Oh, my God. And with Silas getting the solo...
I'm like FF at 20 here. That is rough. So what does that do for Silas? Silas gets very far ahead now, and it looks like Pinball's taking the walk.
We have to see what this back is. There's just even more fighting in the bot lane.
Yeah, big trading going out. The Black Shield, though, not applying until after it's all over. Blue Metal throwing out of chains. Oh, he went back and Mr. Cookie went in. Mr. Cookie taking a lot of damage. Here comes the leap. Taken down, not important. Gets the kill. I heard a flash there. Mr. Cookie flashed in place, I think.
Yeah, a little last second there. A bit of miscommunication between that mid lane jungle duo. And now Blue Metal.
Going in for
you gotta be careful, buddy.
By Tristana, Young Mashu gets in there. Young Mashu, get out of there. Young Mashu didn't have the mana. Down he goes to the turret. Because he thought he had the mana, was just sitting there jamming W. Yeah, could have just flashed over the wall, right? Amumu was dead. Seems questionable. Definitely went for it, and sure, you'll take that, right? You get the kill. You're gonna get the waves pushing into the turret. So, the wave's going to be pushing toward the Tristana, which Blue Metal certainly wouldn't want at this point in the game. But it could have been a little bit cleaner. Uh-oh. Pinball. Did you learn your lesson from last time? Lien down to about 150 HP. And went back in with the Kingslayer. Gets a lot of HP back. Is up a level now. Pinball, though, will not be deterred. Oh, my God. He's still going for it. He missed the taunt, though. A Kingslayer again. These guys are just going at it constantly. Oh, the chains landing, taking him low. Mr. Cookie, Mr. Worldwide, missing the. Oh my God, going in for it again. The flash burn by Pinball. Flash forward. He missed the kill. What is going on in this lane?
Oh, it's so no, Pinball, please don't go back
Oh
in.
my
You have
god.
teleport. Just back
Do
here.
it. Do it.
Ah,
No, the Kingslayer.
ah,
Oh, the
like
abscond into Kingslayer into auto attack, and that was all she wrote. 2 kills for the Silas. Young Mashu still moving forward, getting aggressive. Blue Metal going low. The fake LeBlanc getting popped there. Things are not looking good for the side of Team Impact early.
yeah, that's one way of putting it. Because I don't know how you're really gonna come back in this top lane from that, since this
You're not.
isn't the somewhat typical, well, more aggressive Shen we've been seeing recently this season, where you go the flash ignite to kind of subsidize your teleport, or just the teleport ignite just
Right.
for that extra kill threat in lane. But Pinball, you were out of that one. You traded flash for flash. You're just back and you teleport back into lane, and then you feel fine and dandy.
Yeah, and I really feel like that's kind of like a play mistake. So like a lot of games, most people don't know this. They start in, they start in champion select. Most people don't think about that though. You have to realize what you're going to do. Okay, I'm playing against the Silas. Am I going to take the ignite? All right, if I'm not going to take the ignite, then I'm just going to chill out until I hit level 6 and help my team otherwise. So now you're actively making the decision to fight without ignite, which is fine in a lot of cases if you determine, okay, I sense weakness from the opposing top laner. They sense weakness just because Lien is sandbagging the Kingslayer, and Pinball didn't learn his lesson from the first death, and that Kingslayer is really strong and does a lot of damage and heals for a lot, and he got punished again. So I'm wondering if Pinball is ever going to figure it out at this point. Blue Metal taken solo, the Buster shot, but his jungler was right there, leaping in. The Shen ultimate is there from Lien as Lien took it from the Shen. I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. That team doesn't have a Shen. I'm like, oh, wait. That team's got
Yeah.
a Silas.
And
That feels bad, man. That feels so bad. The worst part about that is that it looks like Pinballs got canceled because it's on cooldown.
no, he did channel it. It's just Blue Metal.
He channeled it on the Blue Metal. Okay.
Yeah,
You're
but
right.
Blue Metal died, so yeah, this game is more or less snowballed out of control for the side of Kung Fu Pandas. Technically, if we do see some fancy teamwork like last game, Team Impact can kind of bring it back, but this is a really hard deficit for this early in the game. And also, with just how concentrated it is on this top side, the Silas is extremely accelerated and can take over the side lanes. And nothing has been able to come to fruition in any other lane here for the side of Team Impact.
Yeah, I mean, Razormouth is going to have his work cut out for him this game if, the Team Impact is to have any chance in this one. It's not looking too good. Mr. Cookie, though, looking to potentially put a play onto this bot lane. They do have the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The lane is kind of in a bit of a flux state right now. It's pushing into the side of the Kung Fu Pandas, which is going to make Mr. Cookie's life real hard. As there's not too much that can be done. Big black shield there. They've rooted up the Alistar. Mr. Cookie is not going in. It looked like he was trying to go in. Soul Shackles will find a kill on the Bombstar. Razor Leaf, a couple of autos away, but will block them as, he's going for it. Mr. Cookie going all in for that one. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Lien is going to force a flash out of Pinball. Pinball going low. Pinball going down. Lien with their 4th kill of the game. 9 minutes in. Things are looking terrible for these guys. Mr. Cookie died on the bot side of the map, and Blue Metal's got to find a way out of there. It's not important. Hasn't had to do much all game, but finally shows up to the top lane and makes big plays happen. Plays happening everywhere. Overall, a 2 for 2.
Blue Metal's still kind of looking for this Pinball. Might just have to deal with the top laner deluxe edition. Gatan under tower, though.
Yep, Lien getting lower and lower, but not important is here as well. And
down here, that one, buddy.
Young Mashu will get a kill back in the top lane. Not important, getting chained up. Blue Metal so low, though. Pinball is trying to chase on the non-important blue metal. Will distortion forward, will distortion back. A great juke there, but Lien goes forward with the Kingslayer. Finds kill number 5. Can he find kill number 6? He's getting taken pretty low, but the Kingslayer sustain is too strong. They nerfed it on this patch, but it's just too much for these guys. Lien gaining as much health as possible. Gonna try to go back in on the Pinball. Is solo. Amumu crying on him, but the Kingslayers, so many Kingslayers. The King has finally been slain as Pinball finds a shutdown. Young Mashu going in for that one. The Zonias has been burnt. One more auto attack. Didn't even need it. Young Mashu
final hour, though.
kill. Yep, final hour.
He's
Not
able
enough.
to follow this.
Razormouth in hot pursuit, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time. Young Mashu also has exhaust if needed. Here comes not important. Razormouth has been baited. Not important. Trying to get closer. Does get closer. Big Moonfall. Condemned burnt. It's not enough. Here comes the Shen Ultimate. Stand United. Trying to get Razormouth out of there. Pinball trying to go back in, but he gets knocked up. The Ignite is onto Razormouth. One more auto attack. Razormouth should go down. They are so low. Alistar popping that ultimate. He wants it bad. The auto attack is there going down. Knock up onto Pinball. Bombs start getting flashed on. And the headbutt away. Couple of auto attacks so low. Young Mashu probably wanted that one, but there are kills going everywhere for the Kung Fu Pandas right now. It's looking pretty bad for the side of Team Impact.
Oh man, and that's a rough one. Kung Fu Pandas just extending their lead in this game. You have this 4-kill Tristana, you have this 5-kill Silas.
How many times did he Kingslayer in that fight, by the way?
Yeah.
He Kingslayed so much. This is a great engagement by Mr. Cookie. Turret helping him out, but Kingslayer's a little bit too strong. Misses the Everfrost. One auto attack away. Could have been a kill for the Silas. I'm sure he's happy with forcing Mr. Cookie out of there.
Interesting. Leon's actually maxing the Kingslayer. That hasn't been a thing, I believe, since the nerfs to it. It was for a while, but when they nerfed it and then rebuffed the Q in return, like, nah. Yeah, we're not going to be doing this as much anymore.
Maybe he determined earlier on with all the fighting that the Max Kingslayer might have been a little bit more useful than, you know, the Max on Chains. It seems like it would make sense, especially with everything going on. Young Mashu taking turret aggro pretty early. Does hit the Buster Shot. Blue Metal can only stand there and wait for the last tick of the bomb. That's a 5th kill for the mid laner. These solo laners are combined 10, 2, and 2 to start the game 13 minutes in.
Yep, fully completed Kraken Slayer and Zerkers for this Tristana.
Oh my
compared
God.
to just the lost chapter for this LeBlanc, like, Tristana is getting to be able to do Tristana things, which is not a good time if you happen to be blue metal.
They might get full plates too, and the bot lane is able to rotate over and take the dragon. Tristana is swimming in gold. That first turret went down in 13 minutes. 5 plates worth of gold and a solo tower gold there. That is, this Tristana has 1,700 in her pocket, 7,200 gold overall in this game right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. This game is kind of all but over by now. We're just going to see a very slow demise, it feels like, coming up from Team Impact, since it's still this early into the game, but it's a 6,500 gold lead. Like, that's kind of absolutely massive. It's going to get even bigger here with this potential dive in the bot lane. Just spotted out. A little bit delayed there.
Oh, nice juke from Not Important here. The Soul Shackles come down. Razor Leaf taking a lot of turret damage. Goes in, gets taunted up. The Vayne is out of there, but using that Inferno trigger, getting them so low. Razormouth is ignited, is rooted. It's a double kill for Not Important. And this bot lane turret should be going down as well. The gold lead continues to swell, just over 8K.
Yep.
Man, looking for more.
Yeah.
Chase is getting chased down. Mr. Cookie, are you going to be able to find a way out of there? And they are going to root him up on that blast plant. The squad just converging on this Amumu. Amumu says he's got no friends, but he found 4 of them there as they really wanted him. And then there's another kill going over to the Kung Fu Pandas.
Oof.
Another turret going down as well. 15 minutes. All 3 outer turrets for the side of Team Impact have gone down.
Yep. This Tristana has 3 levels on this
Yeah,
Shen.
I was just about to say that too. That's oh man,
Yep.
this has been a rough one, and give a lot of credit to Young Mashu. They've played a great game so far. The CS leader in the game by about 15 minutes. It's very hard to keep up with CS when you're brawling like this, but they're doing a good job of it, and have their sights set on this Shen. And the Shen, while is very tanky right now with the 2 cloth armors and the Sunfire Aegis, it's just way too much damage.
Bind.
Yep, very good.
Oh, the bandage toss.
Yeah, didn't have enough band-aids to be able to reach that Silas. Just a little short. Not too much they could have done there. I mean, they could have flashed over the wall and maybe made the play. With Silas having a shutdown on him, maybe that would have been preferable to at least try it. Because at this point, I feel like you have to start getting desperate.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a very low-risk pick as well. I mean, he's dead.
Yeah, goodbye, Mr. Cookie. The Curse of the Sad Mummy stolen away by the Silas and used by the Silas to secure their 7th kill of the game 16 minutes in. And it's a shame. And I think a lot of this has to do with emotional exhaustion, right? So that last game, Team Impact came in. They were down early. They made some big plays, had that big high in the mid game where they were feeling good about themselves. And then, after that, kind of took a hard L after that. After that last good team fight they had, things really fell apart. And when you get so excited like that, and you get that high emotionally, when you come down from that, especially when it comes to momentum in League of Legends, you could get emotionally exhausted, and it results in games like this where things are not going well for you anymore, and it seems like things are snowballing away. Nobody's really into the game anymore. I think that might be what's happening here.
Yeah, like, what are you gonna do here on the side of Team Impact, realistically speaking?
Well, your Vayne is 0-3, but does have 120 CS, and theoretically speaking, as we do see, Shelly has been dropped here. Taking inhibitors very early, as popular as mentioned many times by LS, is very bad. You don't want to be taking inhibitors early, just in case you aren't able to convert your advantage and allow one team to scale up so much. So when you take a look at the team comps, they have their ace in the hole. This Vayne is their ace in the hole. It's just a matter of if they can get there.
It's gonna be a while here with just the singular item. Like, no one's able to respond to this just on in the bot lane, able to just take down that tower. Still has a 3-level lead.
Yeah, it's so, it's such a deflating feeling when you play LeBlanc and you're getting assassinated by everything. Here comes the 3-man goon squad on top of Lien. Are they gonna be able to find a way out of here? They do already burn one Kingslayer. Flash is out of there, but they're in hot pursuit. There's 2 Everfrosts landed. However, here is another Kingslayer. Lien burning lower and lower. A 3rd Kingslayer. Good dash using the blast flame. Man, this guy's insane. Doing so much to be able to get away from these guys. Razormouth with the final hour. Burns the heal as well. Chasing down only Lien. Here's the re-engage. The Kingslayer. Yeah. The Shen ultimate to stand united is not enough. Lien turns around a 3v1, gets a kill, and gets out of there.
4v1 technically, because Pumpkin IRL was there at the beginning of that fight.
True.
So yeah, like,
mind you, for forgetting the fact that this team also has 3 dragons, and in 4 minutes they're gonna get an Infernal Soul, and it feels like the other team always gets Infernal Soul when you're not having the greatest game. So it's going to be pretty difficult. As Young Malshu, that you're going to knock down the first inhibitor turret of the game.
Well, the good news is with how big this gold lead is, you might not have to face an Infernal Soul, as there's a flash.
The engagement, but here comes Lien into the fight. Oh my god. Absolute decimation. Pinball goes down as well. It's a 4-0. Blue Metal has to retreat all the way into the fountain. This is going to be a 20-minute game, as the entire team is here. The only one who's not healthy is Razorleaf, and they've got enough lifesteal. Tristana takes turrets like a maniac. The first Nexus turret goes down. You've got to be kidding me. This is going to be a 20-minute game. The second Nexus turret goes down. The only question, are they going to end the game before 20 minutes? And they are.
Yeah.
19 minutes, 53 seconds. This Nexus turret. I'm sorry, the Nexus goes down in the blink of an eye. This game's over.
Yeah, well, I guess I did kind of prophesize that when I said, well, maybe they won't have to face that Infernal Soul with just how big this lead is. And right after that, they kind of ended the game. So at least they didn't have to face the Infernal Soul, Yanni. You okay, buddy?
No.
Need to pick me up?
That was God. Listen, I was casting that game and I even felt victimized by that. Official time of game 19 minutes 57 seconds.
Okay, it does account for the Nexus
Um
explosion.
it
Interesting.
does. The most damage in the game dealt by this Tristana, only about
I'm
300
surprised.
more than the Silas. Silas healed for 6,687
Yeah,
and did 14k damage.
yeah,
Only out healed by the Diana, who heals based off of smite.
yeah.
I'm like people say this all the time that oh I'm speechless. No, I'm actually speechless. Like that's
Yeah.
wild.
I mean, the snowball started and then it just kept getting larger and larger and larger. And at the point when we saw the game end, it's like Team Impact knew, like, yeah, this game's kind of boom. Let's just make a Hail Mary here and see what we can do. It ends
Yeah,
up
I
as
mean,
expected. They're like, yeah, better lose now than just let this game carry on and just lose later or have to fight a last ditch effort later.
yeah,
And congrats to Kung Fu Pandas. I mean, it was much more even in that first game, but in the second game, they just kind of came out and just brutally slaughtered the competition here.
yeah. They looked real good. I mean, this team has now improved to 2-1, so it's still a little early in the season. But I mean, this was a dominant performance. And Team Impact, they had that the rough start to game one, but had that pretty solid mid game. This team, now they fall to 0-3. I really feel like they're going to need to shore up their early game in order to be able to get themselves to that mid game kind of, the mid game where it's really tight, about a 3,000, 2,000 gold difference between the two teams will allow them to, maybe convert some leads or something like that. But, they do have a little bit of work to do. The season is still early, and these guys, they can make plays. Like we saw, they were making plays in the first game. So I don't know if it's a case that they just ran into the Kung Fu Pandas team that is just happens to be really really good, or if maybe they didn't have their best game, or maybe the team's not that strong and they're going to have to work really really hard to try to get some wins. But there's still a lot of season left, and hopefully both of these teams will be able to kind of learn some things from this matchup. Team Impact more so than the Kung Fu Pandas. But there's a lot to take back, a lot to review, and hopefully both of these teams can get stronger. And hopefully we'll see some of these teams later on in the season.
We definitely will have to. We won't see this matchup again unless we're talking about playoffs, since it is a single round robin here. So, hey, that's for the future, though. But with that being said, I think it's time we get ready to sign off here, Yanni.
Yeah, that will be it for us. Remember, tomorrow, Sunday, August 15th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have week 3 of the Premade Dominate League. That'll be casted by Rhino717 and Axeman. So you're not going to want to miss that, as Axeman, got a really smooth, suave voice. I always love when he casts. I'll be in the chat saying hello. But that is it for us. I was Yanni. I'm here with Go for Eno, our producer today. Thank you so much to XS. You did a really good job. Really appreciate you. Appreciate Risen, as always, the upper brass, for the opportunity to cast as well. And I hope to see some of you in the chat tomorrow. I'll be working, but I'll be there. And we'll see you tomorrow for some Risen League action. Have a good night, everybody. Be well.